It was a cold and quiet night in the small town where Arav lived with his young son. The streets were empty. Most people were inside their homes watching TV or preparing to sleep. But Arav was still outside, returning from his late shift at the workshop. He was tired, thinking only about reaching home and hugging his son. As he walked near the old bus stop, he suddenly stopped. Someone was there. A small girl was standing alone under the broken streetlight. The cold wind was blowing her hair, and she was hugging herself to stay warm. Her clothes were dirty, her face looked tired, and her eyes were filled with fear. She looked no older than 6 or 7. Arav felt his heart jump. Why was a little girl standing alone at this hour? He slowly walked toward her, careful not to scare her. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. The girl looked at him, but she didn't speak. Her lips were shaking, as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. Arav noticed she was holding something tightly in her small hand. When he looked closely, he saw it was a broken gold bracelet, not a normal one. It looked very expensive, something only very rich people would own. Arav gently knelt down to her level. "What is your name?" he asked. The girl opened her mouth, but only one line came out. I don't know." Cold feeling went through Arav's body. A child who didn't know her own name? That was not normal. Something was very wrong. He looked around the street. Nobody was there. No parents. No guardians. No one calling her. No sound except the wind. It almost felt like she had appeared out of nowhere. Arav asked again, "Where's your home?" The girl shook her head slowly. Tears began to fall from her eyes. Arav knew he couldn't leave her there. The night was too cold, the road too empty, and the fear too real. But as he stood up, he felt something strange, like someone was watching them from the dark. He turned around quickly, but he saw nothing. Still, the feeling didn't go away. He took a deep breath and held out his hand. "Come with me. You are safe now," he said gently. The girl looked at his hand for a long moment, then slowly placed her small hand in his. Her hand was cold like ice. Arav wrapped his jacket around her shoulders as they walked. The girl stayed silent, looking behind every few minutes, as if she was scared someone would appear. Arav noticed the bracelet again. Even broken, it looked like something from a billionaire family. But why would a billionaire child be standing alone at night near an old bus stop? When they reached Arav's house, his son Ishan ran to the door. "Papa, you're late!" "Who is she?" he asked. Arav smiled softly, but didn't know how to answer. The girl stood quietly, looking at the warm home like she had not seen safety in a long time. Ishan walked to her and said, "Don't be afraid. You can sit here." For the first time, the girl gave a tiny smile. Arav brought her a blanket and some warm milk. She drank it slowly. But she still didn't speak. When Arav asked simple questions, her name, her family, her parents, she looked confused, scared, lost. Later that night, the girl suddenly cried in her sleep. She whispered, "No, no, don't take me." Please, Arav froze. Who was trying to take her? Was she running from someone? He looked again at the gold bracelet in her hand. The symbol on it looked familiar, like he had seen it somewhere in the news. But he couldn't remember where. One thing was sure, this girl had a story. A dark one. And without knowing it, Arav had just stepped into it. The night that should have been normal had turned into something else. Something dangerous. Something life-changing. And this was only the beginning. The next morning, Arav woke up before the sunrise. He had barely slept. All night, the girl cried in her dreams, whispering broken words that made no sense but sounded full of fear. Arav kept thinking about the strange gold bracelet, the dark road, the feeling of someone watching them. The whole night felt like a mystery that was just starting to open. When Arav entered the small living room, he found the girl sitting silently on the sofa, hugging the blanket. She looked fresh but confused, like she had woken up in a world she didn't understand. Ishan, Arav's son, was already sitting beside her, trying to show her his toys. She didn't speak, but she watched him with curious eyes. Arav slowly approached her. "Good morning," he said gently. The girl nodded but said nothing. He tried again. Do you remember anything? Your home? Your parents? The girl lowered her head. Her fingers tightened around the bracelet. She shook her head slowly. Arav sighed. This wasn't going to be simple. Ishan suddenly said, Papa, maybe she is hungry. She didn't eat much last night. Arav smiled and went to make breakfast. While cooking, he kept watching the girl. She seemed scared of loud sounds. When a glass fell from Arav's hand and hit the counter, she jumped and covered her ears. Her breathing became fast. Arav rushed to her. It's okay. It's okay, he said calmly. No one will hurt you. She stayed quiet for a long moment, then slowly relaxed. After breakfast, Arav decided to take her to the police station. It was the logical thing to do. But when he said the word police, the girl's face turned white. She grabbed Arav's arm with trembling hands and whispered, No. Please, no police. Arav froze. Her voice was soft, but full of terror. Why would a child be afraid of the police? What had she seen? What had happened to her? Ishan came running, holding a drawing sheet. Look, Papa. She made this. Arav looked at the paper. His heart skipped a beat. The girl had drawn a car lying on its side, smoke rising from it. Beside it, she had drawn a woman crying. And in the corner, she drew a tall, dark figure with no face, only glowing eyes. The picture looked like a memory, a nightmare, or a warning. Arav showed the drawing to the girl. Did this happen? He asked softly. The girl looked at the picture, then turned her face away. Her eyes filled with tears. Arav felt a heavy weight in his chest. Something terrible was in her past. By afternoon, Arav decided to take her to the jeweler in town. He needed more information about the bracelet. Before leaving, he wrapped a scarf around her head, hoping she would feel safer. At the jewelry shop, the jeweler, Mr. Kapoor, examined the bracelet carefully. His eyes widened. Where did you get this? He asked, almost whispering. Arav explained a small part of the story. Mr. Kapoor nodded slowly. This symbol. It belongs to the Verma fortune group. They're very, very rich people. Billionaires. He looked at the girl. This bracelet is custom-made. Worth more than a car? Arav felt a chill. A lost, scared girl with a bracelet from one of the richest families. Nothing made sense. As they left the shop, Arav noticed a white SUV parked across the street. The windows were black, too dark to see inside, but he felt the same feeling from last night, someone watching. When he walked toward his house, the SUV slowly moved away. Not fast, not normal. It felt like a warning. Back home, the girl suddenly held Arav's sleeve tightly. Her eyes were wide. She pointed to the window and whispered, He's here. Arav rushed to the window, but he saw nothing outside. Who was he? Why was she afraid of him? And how far would he go to take her back? Arav didn't know yet. But he felt it. This girl's silence was hiding a storm, and that storm was coming straight toward them. The mysterious white SUV did not return again that evening, but its shadow stayed inside Arav's mind. He kept checking the window again and again, making sure the door was locked. Something inside him warned that the danger was not over. It was only hiding. Waiting, the girl stayed close to Arav the whole time. Every time the doorbell rang, or the floor creaked, she jumped like she expected someone to grab her. Arav wanted to help her relax, but he knew comfort alone could not solve this mystery. He needed answers. Late at night, after Ishan fell asleep, Arav sat at the small table with the broken bracelet. The golden piece shone under the weak light. The symbol engraved on it looked important, 2 letters intertwined in a fancy way, like a royal signature. The jeweler's words kept echoing in Arav's mind. This belongs to the Verma fortune group, one of the richest families. Arav opened his old laptop and searched for the name Verma. Dozens of results appeared. News articles, business stories, charity events, award photos, all showing the same powerful woman, Maya Verma, owner of Verma fortune group, billionaire. Leader of many companies, but something else caught his eye. An article published 3 months ago? The headline read, "Billionaire's daughter missing after mysterious accident." Arav's heart sped up. He clicked the article. A small picture loaded slowly. A little girl with the same soft hair, same bright eyes, the same innocent smile. The same face as the girl sleeping in his house. The article said Maya Verma and her daughter were traveling late at night, when a car crashed into them on a lonely highway. Maya survived with injuries, but the girl disappeared. No body was found. No clues. No witnesses. The police believed she was taken, not missing. Arav leaned back in his chair, shocked. The girl in his house? Was she the lost daughter of a billionaire? He looked at the bracelet again. It felt like it was screaming the truth at him, but then a thought hit him. If she really belonged to such a powerful family, why was she found alone near an old bus stop? Why wasn't her picture everywhere? Why wasn't her name known by everyone? Arav kept reading. Another line stood out. The case was kept private due to threats to the family. Threats, kidnapping, rich family. Hidden clues? Arav suddenly understood the fear in the girl's eyes. Someone dangerous was involved. Someone who did not want her found. He closed the laptop slowly and looked at her sleeping on the sofa. Her small hands still held the bracelet like it was the only thing she trusted. He knew he had to tell someone. Maybe the authorities. Maybe even Maya Verma herself. But then the girl spoke in her sleep again. "No, don't take me. Please don't." Her voice was weak, shaking with terror. Arav felt his chest tighten. If he took her to the police or the media, what if he sent her back to the same danger she escaped from? What if the wrong people found her first? The clock hit midnight. Arav stood near the window, watching the quiet street. He felt something cold inside him, a strange instinct that someone was still looking for the girl. Someone who would not stop. The next morning, Arav decided to test something. He showed the girl a picture of Maya Verma from the news article. "Do you know her?" he asked. The girl looked at the picture for a long time. Her eyes softened. Her lips trembled. She touched the screen gently, like touching a memory. But then fear filled her face again. She shook her head fast. "No, no, no." Arav understood her confusion. Trauma often erased memories or mixed them. But the truth was getting clearer. Piece by piece, he needed one more confirmation. So he went to the library to check older newspapers. But as he stepped out of the building, he froze. The white SUV was parked across the road again. Engine running. Windows dark. Not moving, watching. Arav felt a chill run down his spine. Someone knew he had found the girl, and they were getting closer. The white SUV outside the library did not move. It sat there like a silent warning. Arav tried to act normal, but every step he took felt heavy. He held the girl's hand tighter as they walked home. She kept glancing back, her small body shaking every time the SUV's engine growled softly. When they finally reached home, the SUV slowly rolled away, disappearing around the corner. Arav locked the door and windows, his mind racing with fear and questions. Who was watching them? And why now? That night was tense. Ishan fell asleep early, but the girl stayed near Arav, holding the bracelet tightly. Every time there was a sound outside, she pressed closer to him. Hiding her face, Arav sat beside her and said softly, "You are safe here. I won't let anything happen." He meant it. But deep inside, he felt the danger growing. The next morning began quietly, almost too quiet. Arav made tea, trying to calm his nerves. Suddenly, a loud noise shook the house. Boom. Not an explosion, a car door slamming. More cars. Many cars. Arav ran to the window. Outside his small house, 3 black luxury cars and 1 white limousine were parked. The entire street looked shocked. Neighbors peeked out from windows. Men in black suits stepped out of the cars. Tall, serious, professional. The kind of men who belong to a world far richer than Arif's. Then a final door opened. A woman stepped out. She wore a simple but elegant white dress. Her face was tired yet powerful. Her eyes looked like they carried years of pain. But it was the way she looked around, the urgency in her steps, that made Arav freeze. It was Maya Verma. The billionaire. The mother from the article. The woman searching for her lost daughter. Ara felt the girl grab his shirt. When he looked at her, she wasn't afraid. She was confused, like she recognized something but couldn't understand it fully. Knock shook the door. Arav opened it slowly. Maya Verma stood there, her eyes locking onto him with intense desperation. You found her, she whispered before Arav could say anything. Behind Maya. The guards scanned the area like danger was everywhere. Arav stepped aside. The girl stood in the living room, clutching her bracelet. The moment Maya saw her, her face broke. Tears rushed down her cheeks as she covered her mouth. She stumbled forward, falling to her knees in front of the girl. My baby, my little girl, Maya cried, reaching out with trembling hands. But something strange happened. The girl stepped back. She did not run into her mother's arms. She did not speak. She only stared, confused and scared. Maya gasped softly and looked at Arav. She doesn't recognize me? Arav shook his head slowly. She doesn't remember anything. Maya's face filled with pain. She gently touched the girl's hand. It's me, your mama. I never stopped looking for you. The girl looked at her like she wanted to believe her, but fear held her back. She hugged Arav's leg instead. Maya's guards exchanged looks, surprised. Arav felt awkward but protective. She feels safe with me, he explained quietly. Maya wiped her tears and stood up. You did more for her in 3 days than anyone did in 3 months, she said. Thank you. But Arav knew the story was not simple. Why was she alone on the road? He asked. Maya hesitated, then looked out the window, checking the street. Then she said something Arav did not expect. She was not lost. She was kidnapped. Chill spread through the room. Maya continued in a low voice. Someone from my own family took her. Someone who wants my empire. When she escaped, they came after her. Arav felt the air grow heavier. The girl squeezed his hand. Maya stepped closer, her voice firm but full of fear. And they won't stop. Not until they get her back. Just then, a guard rushed inside. Ma'am, we have a problem, he said urgently. Maya's face tightened. What now? The guard whispered. The white SUV is back. Arav looked outside. The SUV was parked at the end of the street. The danger had found them again. The moment Arav saw the white SUV at the end of the street, a cold fear entered his stomach. It sat there like a silent monster waiting to strike. Maya's guards moved quickly, forming a protective circle around the house. The girl pressed herself against Arav, trembling like a leaf. Maya whispered, He found us. Arav asked in a low voice, Who is he? Maya swallowed hard. Her eyes burned with anger and pain. My own brother. Vikrant Verma. Arav couldn't believe it. Your brother kidnapped his own niece? Maya nodded slowly. He wants control of the family empire. If my daughter disappears forever, he becomes the legal heir. Everything suddenly made sense. The secrecy, the missing child, the fear, the strange bracelet, the private investigation. And now, the SUV? Before Arav could ask more, a guard rushed inside. Ma'am, the SUV engine is still running. Someone is inside. Maya's face hardened. We moved the child to the safe car. Now, the guards began ordering directions, but the girl refused to let go of Arav's hand. She hid behind him, terrified. Every time a guard got close, she cried softly, No, no, no. Arav looked at Maya. I think she feels safe only with me. Maya nodded, her expression grateful but broken. Then stay close to her. I trust you. Outside, the white SUV's door opened. A tall man stepped out. He wore a black coat, dark sunglasses, and a cold smile that froze Arav's blood. Even from a distance, Arav could feel the danger in his presence. Vikrant Verma. He walked slowly, confidently, like the street belonged to him. Long time no see, sister, he said loudly, his voice echoing. And look, You finally found the little treasure. Maya stepped forward, her guards ready to fire if needed. Stay away, Vikrant. Vikrant laughed lightly. Come on, Maya. You know how this ends. Give me the girl, and all this drama stops. The girl whimpered and clung to Arav. Arav stepped in front of her, surprising even himself. You're not touching her. Vikrant's smile faded. His eyes darkened behind the glasses. And who are you? He asked sharply. A father, Arav replied without fear. Vikrant studied him for a moment, then smirked. Well, father, you're standing in the wrong fight. Before anything else could happen, the guards pushed Maya and the girl toward the house. Everyone moved fast. They locked the doors, closed the curtains, and secured every corner. Maya turned to Arav. He won't go away. He will come inside, Arav whispered. Why don't we call the police? Maya shook her head. Vikrant has police in his pocket. If they come, he will twist the story. He always does. A heavy silence fell. Then, suddenly, crash. A window shattered. Arav ran to the living room just in time to see a masked man entering through the broken glass. Another figure moved toward the back door. They were fast, trained, and dangerous. Vikrant had sent his men. A guard fought one of the intruders. But another man pushed past and rushed toward the hallway, straight toward the children's room. The girl screamed. Arav didn't think. He ran. He tackled the man before he reached the room. They crashed into the wall, struggling on the floor. The man was strong, but Arav fought with pure fear and instinct. He grabbed the man's arm, twisted it, and pushed him back. The man fell, but quickly stood again, ready to attack. Before he could strike, Maya hit him with a heavy vase. The man collapsed. Arav breathed hard, sweat dripping from his face. Are you okay? He asked Maya. She nodded, trembling. You saved her. Again. But before they could relax, a deep voice echoed from outside. Enough games, Maya. It was Vikrant. He stood near the doorway holding a small pistol. His smile was gone now. His voice was ice. Give me the girl, or everyone in this house will pay. The girl grabbed Arav's arm tightly. Hiding behind him, Arav stepped forward, placing himself between the girl and Vikrant. He didn't know how, but he knew one thing. He was not letting anyone take her. Not while he was breathing. Vikrant stood at the doorway. The pistol pointed straight at Arav. His cold smile showed he felt completely in control. The guards stayed frozen. They could not shoot because the little girl was too close. One wrong move, and everything could fall apart. Arav felt the girl trembling behind him, hiding her face in his shirt. Ishan stood inside the room, confused and scared, clutching his toy tightly. Arav knew he had to protect both children, even if it cost him everything. Maya stepped forward bravely. Vikrant, please. She's a child. She's your niece. Ah, Vikrant smirked. She is also the key to the Verma Empire. And I want that key. You have money? You have everything. Maya shouted. But not enough, Vikrant replied coldly. Power needs more power. Arav felt disgust. How can someone be this heartless? Vikrant shrugged. Because heart gets in the way. You should try living without one. Arav took a slow step forward. Put the gun down. Take me instead. Leave the children. Vikrant laughed loud, a mocking sound. You think you are a hero? You are a poor mechanic with a small house. You are nothing. Arav's jaw tightened. Maybe, but tonight, I'm the wall between you and this child. Vikrant raised the gun higher. Move or die. Before Arav could react, the girl suddenly stepped out from behind him. Her small voice broke the air like a whisper of courage. Stop. Please, she said, her eyes full of fear. Vikrant looked at her with greedy satisfaction. There you are, little princess. Come to your uncle. The girl shook her head. No. Vikrant frowned. No. You belong with me. The girl took a step backward toward Arav. I belong. Here her voice was small, but full of truth. Arav felt his heart melt. Maya covered her mouth in shock. Even the guards looked moved. Vikrant's face twisted with anger. You stupid child. You don't choose anything. I choose for you. He aimed the gun at her, but Arav acted first. He pushed the girl aside and jumped at Vikrant, grabbing his arm. The gun fired a loud blast echoing through the small house, but the bullet hit the wall. Maya screamed. The guards rushed in. Arav and Vikrant fell to the floor, wrestling with full force. Vikrant tried to hit him with the gun, but Arav held on with everything he had. Years of hard work gave him strength. He pinned Vikrant's hand down. A guard finally kicked the pistol away and slammed Vikrant to the ground. Moments later, Vikrant was handcuffed, screaming like a wild animal. You fools. You ruined everything. This isn't over. But it was over. The guards dragged him outside as neighbors came out in shock. Police sirens finally filled the street, called secretly by Maya during the fight. This time, she had proof. This time, her brother couldn't twist the truth. Inside the house, Maya ran to her daughter. She knelt, tears flowing down her cheeks. My baby. My brave girl. The girl looked at Maya's face for a long moment. Then, slowly, she reached out and touched her mother's cheek. Mama, she whispered. Maya broke down crying, hugging her tightly. Yes, my love. It's me. I'm here. I will never lose you again. Arav felt warmth rise in his chest. Ishan ran to him and hugged him tightly. Maya stood and looked at Arav with deep gratitude. You saved her life, not once, but again and again. Thank you is not enough. Arav shook his head. I did what any father would do. Maya smiled sadly. No, many people have power, money, and big teams. But you had courage, and that saved her. I want to give you and your son a safe home, a job in my company, anything you need. You are family now. Arav was shocked, but the girl walked to him, held his hand, and whispered softly, Papa, safe. And in that moment, Arav understood, family is not always connected by blood. Sometimes it's connected by love, danger, and the bravery to protect someone who needs you. The night ended with peace finally returning. But their story, their new family, was only beginning.